Dear Jenny, I was never really one for writing letters, especially to tabloid advice columns. In all honesty, I find most advice columns to be fake and overblown, to give readers a humble step back from the worst things humanity can do. However, I feel like you are my last chance at finding a solution to my very serious problem. So here I am, writing to you during a very stressful moment in my life. I guess my problem started when I moved in with my fiancé. Let's call him Spencer. He's the perfect man, Jenny. Like, you wouldn't believe how insanely perfect he is. He's charming, handsome, has a good job, loves dogs, everything. I am insanely lucky to be his fiancé. I was blessed just meeting the guy, but that's an entirely different story. We moved in together after 3 years of dating, and despite what other couples warned us about, we were in bliss every single day. We got up, I made us breakfast, he'd eat, kiss me deeply, then pet our pit bull Kibble on the head before heading off to work. When he'd leave, I started work on my paintings. I became a freelancer before I started dating Spencer, so all of my work is done in the house. I even have a designated room in the house for painting. Kibble and Spencer are not allowed in. Anyway, one day while Spencer was at work and I was painting another commission, I'd hear this tapping at the window, like a pebble being thrown to catch my attention. So I'd go over and peek outside to see if any of the kids were trying to pull a prank on me. To my surprise, I saw this woman. Long blonde hair, baby blue eyes. It was so surreal. She just stared up at me with these dead eyes. So I simply waved and went back to work. And that was the end of it. Until it started occurring every single day. It came to the point where I would rush out to the front door and demand that she'd stop throwing pebbles at my window. But by the time I'd get down the stairs and to the front door, she'd be gone. It was frustrating. I told Spencer about it, but he just waved it off like it was my imagination. So I decided to record her with my phone and show him. It was easy enough. When I showed him the video, he froze. Like he knew this girl. I asked him who she was, because it was obvious on his face that he knew her somehow. And he just stormed off to the kitchen, and for the first time in 3 years of being with this man, he cracked open a beer and chugged the entire thing down. I had never seen him like this, Jenny. So I became confused and frightened. Why was this girl important enough to cause such a reaction? Spencer then told me there was a girl who once stalked him. A girl with blonde hair, blue eyes. You're putting 2 and 2 together, right? She worked at the same company he did and became obsessed with him, following him everywhere, throwing pebbles at his old apartment window. I knew about her. The story was all over the papers of an unfortunate girl being tossed out of a company for inappropriate stalking and harassment. Following that night, he'd ask me every day if she came around. He insisted on getting security cameras and getting the police involved, but they didn't help. No, it was like he knew she was coming around and properly hid herself when it was needed. He began to start regularly drinking, ending each night, at least, buzzed. I was scared of losing my Spencer. What was even worse was that this girl was causing me to freak out. Who the hell did this girl think she was? How did she find us? Why was she acting like stalking my fiancé was okay? If she kept this up, would Spencer break? There were so many questions I needed answered. So I did the only thing I could think of. Set up a trap and make her stop. It took a while before I finally managed to catch her, throwing pebbles once again at my window. I waited at the empty house across from mine and ran at her when she didn't expect it. I knocked her out with a frying pan and dragged her inside of my house. Spencer was on a long business trip, and I dropped Kibble off at a dog sitter, so I had the perfect chance to be alone with this girl. I just wanted to make her stop, Jenny. It's been a week since I dragged her into my basement. Kibble is still with the sitter, and Spencer returns home in a couple of days. I'm on my last string. I've tried everything to get my answers, starving her, drenching her in water, anything short of actually hurting her. I don't want to hurt her. I'd never do that. But I'm losing precious time. She keeps saying she'll never give up on him. I'm so distraught that I can't even focus on dyeing my hair back to Spencer's favorite brunette color. Jenny, my marriage depends on you. How can I make this girl stop copying me?